Alrighty, it says we're live, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Learn One New Thing webinar. My name is Sydney Baxter, and I'm a training specialist here at the Ag Leader Academy. I'll be hosting this week's Learn One New Thing webinar. This is a bi-weekly series where we hope to teach you one new thing about our data management platforms, be it AgFiniti or SMS Desktop Software. Just a reminder that this webinar is recorded. It's a 20-minute short webinar where we hope to teach you one new thing. And if you learn one new thing, we encourage you to share it with your friends who you think to learn or need to learn one new thing. So you can find the recording listed in the Learn One New Thing playlist on the YouTube channel. This week's Learn One New Thing topic is about AgFiniti and the 5 ways you can get data into AgFiniti, including syncing from the SMS desktop software. So for those of you using SMS, don't worry, we do have information that pertains to you right in the middle of this webinar today. If you give me a moment, I'll be switching my screen so you can see my AgFiniti window. Okay, right here you can see my AgFiniti window where I am logged into agfiniti.com. Here I'm currently in the Display Assist section where I can remote support and control a display. You're currently looking at the in-command display that I am remote supporting into. Now this display is right next to me, therefore it does not have a green satellite, and it is going to be managed by my coworker, Kevin Carlson. Now he's also multitasking and managing the chat at the same time, so do go easy on him. However, at this time, if you do have any questions, I would certainly encourage you to drop those in the chat. The first way to get data into AgFiniti and the most seamless and cleanest way to get data into AgFiniti is going to be syncing from the display. In order to sync from the in-command display, you will need to have an internet connection source in the cab as well as be logged into AgFiniti. Once you're logged into AgFiniti and have an internet connection, you will see the cloud icon next to the AgFiniti symbol in the upper right-hand corner of your display. If you're to click this location of the display, it will open a menu where you can then choose data transfer. From the data transfer screen, you can see that you're connected to an internet connection via the green bars that are located at the bottom of the screen. The notification coming up is just confirming that it's okay for me to continue controlling the display. Next, you know that you're logged into AgFiniti when you see the AgFiniti license or the AgFiniti username listed here. Once those two are complete, you can then begin to start exporting data to the cloud. Choose the export data icon in the middle of the screen here, and if you read a little bit, you'll notice it says you can create an ag data file. Once you choose this button, it's going to open up a window where you can choose where you'd like to export your data. For this example, we will be getting it into the cloud via the internet sync, so we'll choose the display or the AgFiniti icon at the bottom. You notice it took a minute to send the file, and once the file is successfully transferred, it will allow you to confirm this transfer and take you back to the screen. Now, whenever you sync it to AgFiniti, it will appear in My Files. I'll show you in the hamburger menu on the top left side of the screen here, under My Files. In My Files, I'll draw your attention now to the timer icon that you see on the right-hand side of the screen here. This timer icon is indicating that this file is being processed into AgFiniti. As it comes into AgFiniti, you'll notice it has a timestamp as the title of this ag data file. If I were to expand and learn more about this file, you'll notice not only do we have a description of the serial number of the display it was exported from, but also 7 different tags. These tags help keep our files organized in AgFiniti and can be used to search in the main toolbar. If you wanted to modify these tags or even view what the 7 tags are, you could simply choose the checkbox next to the file and edit. In the edit dialog is where you can then begin modifying the name of the file. So if you wanted to name it something more specific than the date you see here, you would simply highlight the text, delete, and begin typing. You can modify the description you see in the edit window as well, and adjust the tags down below. These tags that came in from the field display are automatic. There's 7 different tags that you see listed here, including the grower, farm, and field, and others. I won't show you how to add a custom tag until my next example, but you can create your own tags as well if that helps you search through your files. Once I've made all the adjustments as necessary, I can choose Save, and my edits will be made to the file and saved back to the My Files page. I can search these files later, so if you're managing multiple clients worth of data or you have multiple years of your own data listed in here, it can be helpful to use those tags to kind of color code your files that are listed here. That's the first and most seamless way to get data into AgFiniti. Now, the next way to get data into AgFiniti is to choose the Add icon and manually upload your files. Manual uploads can be supported from multiple different types of manufacturers and file types. Again, we'll be manually uploading from the home screen or from the My Files screen here, and we'll choose Add. From the Add Files screen, we can then begin defining our manufacturer and our file type. For this example, we are going to be using an AgLeader in Command Display, but for your curiosity, if you would like to scroll through the manufacturers, you can do so in this window. We support all of these manufacturers and some of their field displays, and you can begin selecting the file type that you would like to read into the platform in the file type selection here. Once you have those two items defined, you can begin adding files. This will take you to the files in your computer, and you will need to navigate to where this data is going to be stored. So for this example, my data is stored within a folder and another folder, and I would choose the ag data file that you see here. Now, if this came directly off of a field display and was exported onto a USB, you would find it in your USB section of your computer, and it's probably named something not so specific like this one. I can choose Open here. Just a reminder that if you are adding multiple files, hold down the Control key on your keyboard and you can select more than one file. Once you have those files selected, choose Open. The file will be added to the selected files, and you can begin adding a description as well as tags. One thing to note about files that are manually uploaded is that they do not come in with multiple tags. We would need to create our own tags for grower, farm, and field, or custom tags that we'd be using to search later. Here's where I'll show you how to add a new tag. Let's say this data that I'm reading in is replant data. I've already read in my planting data for 2024, but I had to go back and replant because we've had a really wet year here. I could add a custom tag by expanding the dropdown and begin typing the name of the tag I would like to include. For this example, I have already added a tag titled replant, but you can type in whatever tag you would like and choose it from the drop-down list that you'd see here. To ensure that you have the tag selected, make sure it's enclosed in an orange box. If it's not, it won't be saved. You can then choose Upload at the bottom of the dialog here, where the data will begin to upload to the My Files page, where we saw the other ag data file that came directly from the field display. We can rename the file that has been manually read in by once again selecting the checkbox and choosing Edit. The Edit dialog will then open where you can begin modifying the name of your file type. Again, I just want to draw your attention to the timer. Just so you know, if you see a timer in the My Files page, it means it's taking a moment to process your file into AgFiniti. These are the two different ways you could get files into AgFiniti via a field display. The next way I'm going to show you how to get data into AgFiniti is going to sync from the SMS Desktop Software. That's right, if you're an SMS user, basic or advanced, you can use AgFiniti too. AgFiniti is a cloud-based solution to the SMS Desktop solution for data management that we have here at AgLeader. And so long as you have an updated license, you can use your credentials that you use to register your SMS to log into AgFiniti to enable some of the features that you will see on my Essentials license that I'm using today. I'll now switch to SMS, where you can see how we will begin syncing our data into AgFiniti. Right now, what you see here is the SMS Desktop Software, where I have some sample data loaded in. If I were to choose the AgFiniti Sync in the main toolbar, which some of you may be familiar with, it would sync all of the data that I have listed in my management tree to AgFiniti. However, I'm not interested in syncing all of this data because there is several years worth of data listed here. So I'm going to hand pick the data that I would like to transfer to AgFiniti via the device setup that you see listed next to AgFiniti Sync. Once I choose device setup, I'll then be directed to a dialog where I can define what information I would like to see in AgFiniti. First, I do have to give it a name and a description. A name is required, description is optional. So I'll name it something clever to export, like to AgFiniti. Once you've named it, you can then navigate to the Field Setup tab at the top here, where you'll begin defining who is going to be included in this export. For this example, I just want to sync Grower Smith 22 grain harvest data, so I will expand the Grower Smith, home, and East McMains fields, in which I will be exporting grain harvest data for. If you'd like to add more information about resources, pest, drainage tile, or products, you could do so in the respective tabs. But I'll be switching to the Spatial Data Setup tab, where I can then define which operations I would like to sync to AgFiniti. Like I said, I only want to see the grain harvest data for 2022 because I'd like to create prescriptions off this data. So I would select grain harvest data or grain harvest here and choose add. I'll then choose OK at the bottom where this configuration will then be built into the device setup utility and then can begin to be exported. You'll notice we have 3 export options at the bottom of the screen here: export to a display, SMS mobile PC, or AgFiniti. If you want to export it to AgFiniti, which we'll be doing today to get data into the platform, we will choose export to AgFiniti, and SMS is going to direct us to a page where we'll define how we would like to view it in AgFiniti. We do want to create a prescription based on this data, so let's export it as AgFiniti mappable data and ensure that the target account is my account. Choose Export to AgFiniti at the bottom of the dialog here, where then it will take a moment to process, but it will be loaded into AgFiniti. Once I switch back to AgFiniti at the bottom of my screen here, you'll notice that SMS syncs do not appear in the My Files page. That's because a sync from SMS is going to appear in the hamburger menu under the map area. It will appear here in the list of fields that you can begin managing. Doesn't look like the East McMains has synced yet, but it will also appear in the Manage Data option at the bottom. You'll notice here the East McMains field for 2022 grain harvest has appeared in my Manage Data, which means it's available for mapping as well. If I go back to my mapping screen here, there it looks like it's been loaded in. So there I have 22 East McMains grain harvest along with a corresponding legend. That's the third way we can get data into AgFiniti. Just to recall, the first way was syncing the display, the second way was going to be manual upload, and the third way was going to be using the SMS sync. The fourth way is going to be connecting a third-party application. If you were here 2 weeks ago and you took the survey, this is for you. Someone requested that we did learn more about syncing with third-party platforms, and here is your plug. The way you can get data into AgFiniti from the third-party platform is by establishing a connection. We can do so by going to the right side menu and choosing Connections. Choose Connected Applications, where you'll be directed to a page where you can then begin setting up your third-party application. Right now, I don't have any third-party applications listed in here, but if I wanted to create one, I would simply choose Add on the left-hand side of the screen and begin defining the connection and the data that I would like to sync. We do have 3 available third parties that we can sync with. I'll choose John Deere for this example, and I would define the data that I would like to sync and which years. Once I choose Add, here's where we'll be directed to a screen where we can log into John Deere Op Center with our valid credentials. Now, at this point, it is on you to establish that third-party connection through the third-party platform and manually start that sync on the third-party side. I'll go back to AgFiniti, where you would then be able to see the third-party connection listed in the Connected Applications tab of the connection screen. The fifth and final way that we can get data into AgFiniti, and it's more of a creative way, is to share data. I'm going to put on my grower hat really quick, and let's say I'm a grower that just finished their planting season. I just have a free account, but I've been logging all my data on my in-command display that is connected to Internet and AgFiniti. I'll go back to the My Files page because as the Smart grower that I am, I have went ahead and imported it into AgFiniti via the sync tool. Now, I want to share this data with a trusted advisor for them to begin analyzing this data, creating prescriptions, making management decisions. Or maybe you're the grower and you would like to begin or sharing it with another grower. You can navigate to that file that has been imported into the My Files page. Let's say it was the display sync. You would choose a checkbox and then select Share. Once you tap the Share button, you will be able to enter the email of the person you would like to share it with. I'll share it with myself here and enter in my email, as well as an additional message and an expiration date. One thing to note about the email, if it is not enclosed in an orange box, it will not be saved and cannot be sent to that email. So please ensure that the email is typed and it is selected in an orange box. That catches a lot of people in training. Once I decide to share that file, I can choose, once I have entered in all the essential information I need, I can confirm the share and it will begin sharing the data. Now, of course, it's not going to share with me because I am the account owner. If I put on my trusted advisor hat and I navigate to the shared files tab at the top of the screen, the file that the grower shared with me would appear in the shared files. You can see Kevin Carlson, my coworker, has shared a file with me and he entered a message for the webinar. He has 9 tags added to this file and he wants me to begin managing his data. I can do so by checking this box and choosing copy. One thing to note about sharing files is that it might appear in the Shared Files tab, but in order to begin mapping this data and analyzing it, you do need to make a copy of it so it is saved to your own My Files page and then can be managed. Once I have this box selected, I would choose Copy and confirm the copy. It would then appear back on the My Files page where I can then begin mapping this data and analyzing it to create prescriptions. Again, this was the 5 ways that you can get data into the platform. So I'll just remind you, the first was syncing with a display. The second was manually uploading. The third was syncing from the SMS Desktop Software. The fourth was connecting with a third-party application. And the fifth way to get data was to share across the platform and the cloud. If you like what you saw here, please go ahead and take the survey that I will be sharing in just a moment. So if you like what you saw here, take the survey and tune in on July 12th to learn another new thing. We hope you did learn one new thing in today's webinar series about the 5 ways you can get data into the AgFiniti platform, including syncing from the SMS Desktop Software. Kevin's going to be dropping the link in the chat to take that survey. We do value your feedback and would appreciate if you left comments on what you'd like to learn more about. Again, my name is Sydney Baxter. I'm a trading specialist here at the Ag Leader Academy, and I appreciate you taking the time to learn one new thing today. If you'd like to be notified the next time we go live, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'd encourage you to turn on your push notifications to be alerted whenever we go live again. Thank you all, and have a lovely rest of your day.